Hi, my name is Vino from Canada, and this is my video on my experience in the beatbox community. So what you were just watching was my introduction to the beatboxing community as a whole. At the time I was around 9 years old and I thought to myself, wow, this is the dumbest thing in the world and I need to learn how to do it. So my 9-year-old mind just kept on trying to learn all these advanced complex sounds that Daichi at the time was demonstrating and just never really got around to actually learning and completing it. What actually did end up happening was with my super duper short attention span, I just moved on to other things like Pokemon cards. It wasn't until around 2013 where I was exposed again to beatboxing. There was a very popular a cappella group by the name of Pentatonix that just started going viral around like my friends in high school. And they just started introducing to me to it through like their Daft Punk cover and a bunch of their original songs and compositions. It was through that I was really exposed to how beatboxing could be implemented in more practical situations, not just solo performances and stuff like that. It was only after watching a couple videos from Pentatonix that made me actually realize that beatboxing is something that I could aspire to do and something that would actually interest me and something that I would want to learn how to do. So I did what every beatboxer at some point did in their lives and just googled how to beatbox. I came across a bunch of tutorials, some from Kaila FX, some from Fat Tony, a couple from Track 9, some from even Flashburn, I believe his name is. So there were just a bunch of small beatboxers in the community that definitely helped shape who I was. I eventually got a couple of the basic sounds down, you know, B, T, K. And over the time of practicing it and showing it to my friends, I basically kind of created this ego. Now it was this whole like mindset that nobody else could do it that really made me realize, wow, I'm so cool. I'm the only one that can do this. I clearly must be super duper good at this. I was not, and I was clearly proven that when I first hopped onto the Beatbox Rap TeamSpeak. And I have nothing against the community. I think those guys are very cool, very supportive at times, and they're also super competitive, which is what I found out through my first experience with them. I joined in the chat room and I did a very simple beat, which was just a BTK PF snare beat. So and then after doing that, just a swarm of angry, I would assume teenagers, just came down on me for using basic techniques and sucking at beatboxing. And that just kind of crushed my self-esteem and this whole ego that I had constructed for myself. It was only after that experience that I actually started proactively watching more of the professional beatboxers. Darnie, Alem, Skiller, Bobbly, and just a bunch of other beatboxers that were at a certain level where I could actually aspire to become because they were professionals, they were competitive, they had performed in other situations like a cappella groups, with dancers, among even actual instruments, which is crazy. So after experiencing all of that, that's when I really found like a passion in the competitive scene as well. Now, I never really actually thought that I was gonna get in the competitive scene. At the time, I've really done no performances, except for one, which was super cringe with my high school friends. They were good, I was not.
Oh, her eyes, with the stars act like they're not shining. Her hair, falls perfectly without her trying.
No mic technique, no knowledge of any advanced sounds, so that was horrible. But over time, I did start to learn more and more advanced sounds. Now, I just want to do a quick sidetrack for a second. For all the beatboxers out there, you 100% know the struggle of learning throw bass. I mean, to some people, maybe it came naturally, like I assume Reaps 1 probably knew how to do throw bass from the womb. But to some people, especially a 16-year-old Asian boy who was still going through puberty, doing throw bass took ages. Now, I know there are like a billion different ways to do throw bass. If you look at BBK and BR, they kind of have to like move their head in like a certain direction to do the throw bass, and that's the case for me. So it took me a solid year for me to realize that. It took a lot of time of me just growling at myself in the mirror or in the shower like oh god. But eventually I did realize that I had to turn my head slightly to the right in order to actually create the sound. So I don't know, this whole throw bass experience was just like a really defining moment for me because it took me so long to learn the sound. So over the years of me trying more and more beatboxing stuff, I eventually got to where I am now. I kind of haven't really moved a lot because I don't want to say that I've hit my peak, but I've kind of gotten to a point where I'm relatively comfortable where I am, and I feel like I'm just improving at smaller and smaller amounts every day. I performed a bunch of times at a bunch of really small gigs, like in my high school, at universities, etc., etc. I performed with dancers, I performed with singers. I think I've even performed with, I guess, a jazz band at some point. I've done one competition in real life, which was the 2016 Canadian Beatbox Championships.
Make some noise.
I've done a couple of online small-scale competitions, but through the eyes of what I would say is probably among the most average level beatboxers in the world, this is my take on the beatbox community. I'm no LM, I'm no Gene Shinozaki, alright? I'm just an average level beatboxer, if not slightly above average, alright? And I feel like every beatboxer at some point can relate to this. I'm just some kid who can make somewhat abnormal mouth sounds. And to the average person, that's pretty crazy, because to them, all you really need to do is a couple BTK beats that are relatively fast and coupled with some throat bass, and you're good to go. And that's one thing that really frustrates me about real life beatboxing, and it's the fact that when you look at all these TV talent shows that showcase these beatboxers, a lot of them really don't encompass what the beatboxing community is actually capable of. Like, I don't mean to come down on these people who have been on them, because some of them are actually real life competitive professional level beatboxers like Korean FX. But a lot of us get relatively frustrated when you see some regular average Joe on the side of the street who was filmed and gets 1 million views on YouTube, and he's just doing a Now, a lot of us regular beatboxers who appear on TeamSpeak and Discord, we can do that in our sleep, and it's just that like level of frustration that gets to me, because it's so frustrating to see how much recognition they get despite me being able to do the exact same thing, if not more than them. Another take that I have on the beatbox community is it's not taken very seriously. Now, if I had no knowledge of beatboxing whatsoever and I were to watch just some regular average Grand Beatbox battle match from like 2016, 2015, I would be scared. Absolutely. You hear sounds like inward bass or duck hi-hats or something. The average person will just think that is not beatboxing, those are alien mating calls.
Everybody put your hands up.
And to this day, I still think certain sounds are just like will never be able to be implemented outside of the context of competitive beatboxing, which is totally fine. That's what makes us unique as a community. But again, that's what gives us the inability to be taken seriously by outsiders. I feel like the road to slow and steady acceptance by more and more communities, hip hop, dance, and other parts of the music community, or even art communities in general, that process involves us just trying our best to get out there and like demonstrating what we are capable of, even if it means doing an insane amount of inward bass.
Rocket launcher, the art.
I've got a rocket launcher.
My final, and I would say probably the most important take on the beatbox community is how much it's evolved in actually the past 2 years. Now, because a lot of my spare time is spent just watching YouTube videos, a lot of it is spent watching beatbox videos. And I see in like old archives of Human Beatbox or even Swiss Beatbox or BTV, old archives of us just like being small scale project people doing mouth sounds in like 2010 and earlier. And seeing that like kind of growth from 2010 all the way up to 2014, it was pretty steady and slow going. Obviously, you know, venues increase, slightly higher amounts of recognition are given to certain beatboxers, but other than that, there's really been no substantial growth. But in the past 2 years, I've seen it expand so much. And me as a beatboxer, that makes me incredibly proud. This thing that started as a small scale hobby of mine of just making mouth sounds has turned into something bigger than I can ever even imagine. Not just for the beatbox community itself and all these big name performers, but also for people like me, people who are just regular beatboxers who happen to be able to perform on stage. Because of these things and because people hear about big name people in the beatbox community, because of that, I am able to go out and perform more, and I am able to share my talents with more and more people. The beatbox community itself is so diverse and so international. I've talked to people that I'll probably never ever meet in real life. I've met people from Indonesia, I've made friends with people from Japan, and I'm probably never gonna see these people ever, other than in the context of beatboxing on a Discord server or on a TeamSpeak server. And to me, I just find that absolutely insane. The beatbox community itself has also been involved in politics, which is absolutely insane. A very famous beatboxer named Madox made an incredible piece that was some sort of commentary on the American political climate, which I found insane.
Perked up, Donald Trump and top brainwashed white cops.
There are references to Black Lives Matter in the American 2016 Loopstation battles. And And there are several hundreds of covers of all these radio songs that I hear all the time. And just bringing all of that together makes me proud to be a beatboxer. So in conclusion, yes, we are just a bunch of mouth sound makers. But at the same time, we're more than that. We are a family, we are an international community, and we drink water. Esh. Hey, it's Vino, and you made it to the end of the video. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up down below, or even click the subscribe button if you liked it that much. And if you like me and my voice for some reason, you can go ahead and check my channel. Link is in the description. I do vlog type stuff, and this video is actually going to be like me introducing Beatbox into my channel, so I'll start doing some of that as well. So yeah, if you like any of those things, all the buttons necessary are available right below, and go ahead and click. Thanks.